Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video we will look into top 15 polity MCQs. This is the part 1 of the video. Let's start the video. Question number 1. Which of the following below statements well define the function of the Constitution? Let's look into the statements. Statement A. To provide a set of basic rules that allow for minimal coordination amongst members of a society. Statement B. To specify who has the power to make decisions in a society. Statement C. To set some limits on what a government can impose on its citizens. Statement D. To enable the government to fulfill the aspirations of a society and create conditions for a just society. Let's look into the options. Option number 1, only A and D is correct. Option number 2, only B and C is correct. Option number 3, only A and C is correct. Option number 4, all of the above are correct. So the correct option of this question will be, so when it comes to the definition of the Constitution, of course Constitution contains a set of basic rules which provide a minimal coordination amongst the members of society. So statement A is correct. Also it specifies the that what are the powers to be given to the government, to the judiciary, to the executives. So statement B is also correct. Also it sets some limits on the government through fundamental rights and through other policies. So statement C is also correct. And also it specifies the government. It is a set of instructions through which government can create a just society by abiding the Constitution, by following the Constitution and implementing the clauses of the Constitution. We can create a just society. So statement D is also correct. So all the statements above are correct. So the correct option will be option number 4, that is all of the above. All of the above is the correct option. Option number 4 is the correct option. All of the above. Now let's look into question number 2. Which of the following identity is mainly provided by the Constitution to its citizen? Options are option A, political identity, option B, moral identity, option C, social identity, option D, national identity. Let's look into the options. Option number 1, only A, B and D is correct. Option number 2, only B, C and D is correct. Option number 3, only A, C and D is correct. Or option number 4, all of the above. So basically the Constitution provides some identity to its citizens. First of all, a political identity is being provided by the Constitution, that they can form the government, and government is formed by the people itself. Then the powers of the government are defined in the Constitution. So a set of political identity is provided by the Constitution to its citizen. Also a set of moral identity is also provided by the Constitution, that through their fundamental duties, through fundamental rights, what are their rights, what are their duties as a citizen. So through these things we can find out that there is a moral identity also linked, and the Constitution provide to its citizen. Also the Constitution states that also provides the national identity to its citizens. And if you look into the preamble of the Constitution of India, it's clearly mentioned, we the people of India, means the constitution is created by the people of India. So it's a set of national identity which is provided by the constitution to its citizen. When it comes to social identity, although social identity is not directly linked with the constitution, so this option will be an incorrect option. So the correct option will be option number 1, that is only A, B and D. A, B and D is the correct option. The constitution mainly provides political identity, moral identity and national identity to its citizen. So A, B and D is correct option. Now let's move to question number 3. Question number 3. Which of the following created the Indian Constitution? So below are the names given. We have to find out which of the following created the Indian Constitution or constituted the Indian Constitution. Options are option A, Parliament of India, option B, Governor General of India, option C, British Parliament, or option D, Constituent Assembly. So when India was about to get independence, so there was a constituent assembly which was formed to create the Indian Constitution, to enact the Indian Constitution. So the correct option will be option number D, that is the Constituent Assembly. So the Constituent Assembly consists of the members from the British Indian states, from the princely states. So that's how the Constituent Assembly was formed. So the Indian Constitution was formed by the Constituent Assembly. So the correct option is option number D. Now let's move to question number 4. Question number 4. When did the first sitting of Constituent Assembly held? Let's look into the options. Option A, 9th December 1946. Option B, 9th December 1947. Option C, 9th December 1950. Or option D, 14th August 1947. So the first sitting of Constituent Assembly was held on, the correct option is option number A, that is 9th December 1946 is the correct option. Now let's move to question number 5. The members of the Constituent Assembly were elected through. Let's look into the options. Option A, direct election. Option B, indirect election. Option C, both A and B. Or option D, none of the above. So as I told you earlier, the Constituent Assembly consists of the members from the provincial states and from the Indian princely states. So the members who were elected from the provincial states were nominated by the provincial legislative assembly through first past the post system. It's a political method through which we elect the representatives, and it was an indirect election. So the correct option is option number B, that is indirect election. The members of the Constituent Assembly were elected through indirect election, and the members who were from the princely states, they were nominated by the princely states. So the correct option will be option B, that is indirect election is the correct option. Now let's look into question number 6. Consider the following statements. Statement A, the members of the Constituent Assembly were elected by universal suffrage by the members of Provincial Legislative Assembly. Statement B, the Constituent Assembly was constituted along the lines proposed by the Cabinet Mission Plan. Statement C, princely states have more seats in the Constituent Assembly as compared to the provincial states. Which of the following statements above is or are correct? Let's look into the options. Option number 1, only A and B is correct. Option number 2, only C is correct. Option number 3rd, only B is correct. Or option number 4th, all of the above are correct. So when it comes to the Constituent Assembly which was constituted, it was constituted along the lines which was proposed by the Cabinet Mission Plan. So statement B is totally correct. And as discussed earlier, the Constituent Assembly consists of the members from the provincial states and the Indian princely states, but they were not elected by the universal suffrage method. They were elected through an indirect election. So statement A is an incorrect statement. Also, princely states doesn't have more seats because the princely states were less in the number. So the provincial states have more seats as compared to the princely states. So statement C is also an incorrect statement. So the correct option will be option number 3rd, that is only B is the correct option. The correct option is only B. Now let's look into question number 7. Question number 7. When was the Constitution of India adopted? Let's look into the options. Option A, 26th January 1950. Option B, 24th January 1950. Option C, 26th November 1949. Or option D, 15th August 1947. So the Constitution of India was adopted on, the correct option is option number C, that is 26th November 1949. So the correct option is option number C, 26th November 1949. Now let's move to question number 8. How many members of the Constituent Assembly actually signed the document which passes the Constitution of India? Let's look into the options. Option A, 524 members. Option B, 284 members. Option C, 250 members. Or option D, none of the above. So the total number of members who signed the document of the Constitution of India, which led to the passage and enactment of the Constitution of India, the correct option is option number B, that is 284 members. 284 members is the correct option. Let's look into question number 9. Which provision of the Indian Constitution was passed by the Constituent Assembly without any debate? Let's look into the options. Option A, relation between center and state governments. Option B, introduction of universal suffrage. Option C, fundamental rights. Or option D, preamble. So the provision of the Indian Constitution which was passed by the Constituent Assembly without any debate, the correct option is option number B, that is introduction of universal suffrage. So introduction of universal suffrage was passed by the Indian Constitution without any debate, as all the members agreed to this resolution. So the correct option is option B, introduction of universal suffrage. Now question number 10. Which of the following fundamental rights article deals with right to life and personal liberty? The options are option A, Article 16, option B, Article 19, option C, Article 32, or option D, Article 21. So the fundamental rights article which deals with right to life and personal liberty, the correct option is option number D, that is Article 21 is the correct option. Now let's look into question number 11. Consider the following statements. Statement A: while ordinary legal rights are protected and enforced by ordinary law, fundamental rights are protected and guaranteed by the Constitution of the country. Statement B: ordinary rights may be changed by the legislature by ordinary process of lawmaking, but a fundamental right may only be changed by amending the Constitution itself. Which of the following statements above is or are correct? Let's look into the options. Option number 1, only A is correct. Option number 2, only B is correct. Option number 3, both A and B is correct. Or option number 4, none of the above. So when we compare ordinary legal rights with the fundamental rights by the name it suggests, it is fundamental in nature and the citizens cannot be deprived from those rights. So an ordinary rights are protected and enforced by a ordinary law, but the fundamental rights are protected by the Constitution of the country and it is guaranteed by the Constitution of the concerned country. So statement A is a correct statement. Also, the ordinary rights can be changed by the legislature through a ordinary law, through a ordinary amendment, but a fundamental rights can only be changed by introducing a constitutional amendment in the parliament, and again through a constitutional amendment only we can change the fundamental rights. So statement B is also a correct statement. So as all the statements are correct, so the correct option will be option number 3rd, that is both A and B is the correct option. Now let's move to question number 12. Consider the following statements. Statement A: right to freedom is absolute in nature. Statement B: freedom of religion is not an absolute right and government may impose certain restrictions. Which of the above statement is or are correct? Let's look into the options. Option number 1, only A is correct. Option number 2, only B is correct. Option number 3, both A and B is correct. Or option number 4, none of the above. So when it comes to right to freedom, as the statement A says that right to freedom is absolute in nature, it's an incorrect statement. It is because right to freedom is subjected to the public morality and as right to freedom says freedom of speech and expression, so it should be a reasonable expression and it should not be related to against any religion or any caste or any such thing. Also it also says right to freedom to visit any place. But yes, it is correct, but you cannot visit those places which are restricted to the common citizens and common citizens cannot visit there. So it's not an absolute right, it is subjected to the sovereignty of the country, the public uh, law and order situations. So statement A is incorrect. Also when it comes to statement B, freedom of religion is not an absolute right and government may impose certain restrictions. Yes, this statement is a correct statement. It is because freedom of religion, there can be many religious practices like sati, or in some places we see that there are earlier there used to be some human sacrifices also. So those things were, again, it's not which is there to be in society. So the government imposes some restrictions on those practices, and that's why the freedom of religion is not a absolute fundamental right. And so the correct option will be option number second, that is only B. Only B is the correct option. Now question number 13, which of the following rights was referred to as heart and soul of the constitution by Dr. Ambedkar? Let's look into the options. Option A, right to life and personal liberty. Statement B, right to constitutional remedies. Option C, right to equality. Or option D, right against exploitation. So Dr. Ambedkar referred right to constitutional remedies as heart and soul of the constitution of the India, because right to constitutional remedies, a person can go to high court or supreme court and can reinstate the his or her fundamental rights if their rights are being violated by any individual or any entity or a government. So the correct option is option B, that is right to constitutional remedies. Now question number 14th. Consider the following statements. Statement A, there can be an equality without liberty. Statement B, there can be a liberty without equality. Which of the following statements is or are correct? So, when it comes to equality without liberty, again, one cannot means suppose in a house there is a girl and a boy. If both are equal, if it means that if boy comes at 6 p.m. in the evening at home, the same right is being provided to the girl. It means there is a liberty in that house. So if there is a equality, there will be a liberty. So statement A is an incorrect statement. Also, statement B is also an incorrect, because if there is a liberty, there will also be equality, because if as I told you that if the boy comes at 6 p.m. In the house, the same rights are being provided, should be provided to the girl. So if there is a liberty to come at any point of time in house, it means that the same thing should be provided to that girl also, and there should not be any discrimination based upon sex or religion or caste or any place of birth, etc. So both the statements are incorrect. So the correct option is none of the above. That is option number 4 is the correct option. Now question number 15th, the last question of this video. Question number 15th, through which constitutional amendment act fundamental duties were added in the constitution? Let's look into the options. Option A, 42nd Amendment Act. Option B, 52nd Amendment Act. Option C, 44th Amendment Act. Or option D, none of the above. So fundamental duties are a set of duties which was not in the original constitution, and it was enacted and inserted um, after the implementation of the Constitution of India during the Prime Minister phase of Mrs. Indira Gandhi. So the correct option is option number A, that is 42nd Amendment Act. Through 42nd Amendment Act, the fundamental duties was incorporated in the Constitution of India. The fundamental duties has set of 10 duties which is there listed in the fundamental duties, and the citizen should follow these 10 duties as being a citizen of the India. So the correct option will be option number A, that is through 42nd Amendment Act, fundamental duties were added in the Constitution. So I hope that you have liked this video and also you have liked the question. Do subscribe to our channel and please press the like button. Thank you very much.